My name is Amanda Sabroff, and in this video I am going to talk about a kindergarten math lesson using the Madeline Hunter model. We're going to focus on the standard KCC, kindergarten counting and cardinality. We're going to do comparing numbers, number 6, which is identifying whether the number of objects in one group is greater than, less than, or equal to the number of objects in another group. So the way that I would start this lesson is by using a YouTube video. I have this up on the computer. It's called Number Eating Alligators, and it involves comparing numbers. So it talks about an alligator who loves to chomp the biggest number that he can because he's really hungry. So by showing this video, you're getting the kids excited about what they're about to learn. And it's also giving them a reference for when we start using the symbols for greater than, less than, and equal to. Next, we would want to model the skills that we want them to be able to learn. And so we can, depending on the resources that you have in your school, you can use a smart board or a Promethean board, your projector, really anything that you have at your disposal that you can write on and really model what you're going to want the students to know. So for the purposes of this video, I have a dry erase board that I'm going to use. So you want to start out by modeling the different number of objects. So you would have already have practiced numbers and being able to see that there are groups here and that you can count each object and that tells you how many there are. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. In the next set, you want to draw in the same way that you're drawing the other ones so that they can visually see that there's a difference in the number of objects that you drew. Really, you can draw any kind of object that you want. I'm just drawing circles for now, pretty basic. So then in this one, you want to practice with them again, being able to count the number of objects. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, they're going to practice the number and write that down. And now we want to compare the two groups. So we know that the alligator, going back to our video, is really hungry. So he wants to eat as many objects as he can. So to help the students out, they can also have a hundreds board with them, or some kind of number line so that they have another visual in front of them about the order of numbers. This helps with self-assessment. They can check and make sure that their answers are correct. So they would look at their number line and see that 5 is before 6, so we know that 5 must be less than 6, so the alligator doesn't want to eat that group. So we want to face the alligator's jaw over to the group that has the biggest number of objects. You can even draw little teeth in here so that they remember that this is an alligator and he wants to eat the biggest number. And then we can use this for the numbers as well, comparing numbers and objects. You can do this a couple of times to help them see that it can apply to both numbers and groups of objects. You can also differentiate in this as well. So for students who are a little more ahead, they can start doing bigger numbers or bigger groups of objects. So they can even do up to 16 and 27. They would, again, they can look at their hundreds board, or if they already know that 27 is bigger than 16, they know that the alligator wants to eat the biggest number. So we're going to face our symbol towards the 27. So that's getting them to see a model of what you want them to do. And then for some more guided practice, you can either do some worksheets that start to get them to practice seeing how many objects are in a different group. So I have different worksheets here. So this is just seeing how many there are and writing down the number that you see. This is the dots, like I just showed here, that is seeing how many dots there are and matching it up to the number. And so they can practice these worksheets, and they can also, if you have computers available, you can go to abc.com and depending on how specific you want them to be, if you really want them to focus on the comparing numbers, you can get this already set up on the computer. It's actually under first grade math, but it's number values. It's a raceway game. So when they go into the game, a set of objects or just little balls will be on each side, just like our model was, and they have to choose the symbol that matches, greater than, less than, or equal to. So when you're talking about equal to, you also want to be able to model that. So if you have a number or a group of objects, so if you had 6 and 6, the alligator isn't going to be able to decide which way he wants to go, because remember, he wants to eat as much as he can. So he can go to the left or to the right. They're equal to. You also want to show this with objects so that they can see that there are the same number of objects, so they're equal to. That is also gone over in the game as well, so greater than, less than, or equal to, all in there. Again, they can use their number line if they need a reference. And then for your closure, you want to be able to talk to the students about what they got from the lesson. You can ask them different questions about what can you count, what groups are bigger than the other ones, how did you use your hundreds board, and just kind of go over areas that you thought students were a little confused about. And then for independent practice, I came up with this die game. So I created this worksheet. It's bigger, smaller, or the same. So to set this up, you would give each student a die. Again, you can differentiate this. If they want to use higher numbers, you can give them 2 die. And so they're going to sit at their table, and they can work in groups or small pairs if you want them to too. Then you're going to want to model this game and show them that first you roll the die. So I got a 4. So I want to put a 4 on my first blank. Then you roll again. I got a 5. So on my second blank, I want to write a 5. And then in the middle, you're going to write the symbol for greater than, less than, or equal to. So this is just an independent practice to make sure that they have grasped the concepts that you have taught. So the worksheet looks like this. So you roll the die. The first time I rolled, I got a 4, so I'm practicing writing my 4. And I rolled again and I got a 5, so I would write that in the second blank. And now I want to tell which one is bigger. 5 is after my 4 on my hundreds board, so I know that 5 is greater than 4, so my alligator wants to eat the 5. So, if you want the students to have something that they can manipulate and work with, you can use jelly beans or M&Ms, paper clips, really any kind of objects that they can physically get out and start counting, then it works, and they can eat them. Ah.